Hello Internet, welcome back to our Apartment Rat series. I have calmed down between the last episode and this one. In the last episode, we wandered around town before finding a solar vehicle. We then harvested all the solar panels. I tried to tell you a story about how my vomit traumatized a young girl, and then we realized we don't have the mechanic skill to install those solar panels. So what we're going to do, we're going to head upstairs because I approached this very foolishly. My God, we're out of freaking wood. Calm down. So we're going to try crafting up here instead because we were looking for something that would increase our mechanic skill. Oh, fire got a new animation. Look at that. That looks pretty cool. Maybe that's just when it's in the stove tile. That's pretty neat, though. I like that a lot. And what I made the mistake of doing was looking downstairs where we don't have all of our recipe books. So odds are good that there's at least something in here that would be more mechanics oriented. So we're going to look again at our mechanics skill. So much more stuff. Okay, firearm waterproofing. Does that matter? How often do you get guns in water? Anyway, underslung shotgun requires a higher mechanics than we actually have. Let's go down to, okay, 4 of 4, kitchen unit spear gun. So literally nothing at our current level is craftable that we didn't see before. We do want to make this if we're able. We don't have the hot plate or water faucet. We can probably actually make both of those things. Although it's a little irritating that it requires pre-made materials, although I suppose if you can craft them, they're not really pre-made materials. So I think we will make this. Hot plate, what did that require? Oops. Let's look for hot plate. Requires heating elements and an amplifier circuit. Amplifier circuit could be a little bit of an issue. Why don't we look through... Can you separate an electronics pile? You can't. I kind of wish there was an electronics option here. I realize that the electronics probably all get sorted as tools or unspecified materials, but it would be nice to have a specific pile for... So we need an amplifier circuit. Let's look. RC controls. No. Nothing. Let's look at our other electronics. We never really made a point of picking up electronics, so it might be a little difficult. Actually, can we make that as well? Totally can. We need a circuit board. That is something we should be able to get from cell phones, which we should have an abundance of. Do we not have cell phones? I mean, I feel like we definitely have cell phones. There's a cell phone. One to the south. Okay. Cell. Pick up the cell phone. I assume has a circuit board. Doesn't have a circuit board. TVs, for some reason, can only be disassembled for plastic. Oh, actually it says there's a lot of stuff here. I don't know why last time I disassembled one of these, it only gave me plastic. Why don't we disassemble this just because we can, taking a shocking amount of time. Okay, well that's weird. Last time it definitely only dropped plastic, which I thought was very strange because I remember making mental note of it. Anyway, we'll drop this crap. We ought to drop a bunch of stuff because we don't need everything that we have on our person. Cracklins, iodide. I guess actually that's it that we would want to drop. Why don't we reload the M9 magazine? Okay. We actually want the... Yes, we want the other magazine. No, stop. Okay. So we'll pick up the rest of this stuff and we'll take it over to our crafting pile. It did not give us a circuit board or whatever it was we were looking for. Let's look again at this. We need a amplifier circuit, which needs a circuit board. Can we make one? Can't make one. Okay, I don't know why there wouldn't be a circuit board in a television. What would have a circuit board? Let's look at our tools pile. Anything that we have multiples of, flashlights, that wouldn't have a circuit board. MP3 player, processor board, smartphone, processor board. Of course not. Is there an arcade somewhere here? Pizza parlor, arcade machines. Way, way over there. Okay, tell you what. I'm going to save the game, and I'm going to do some testing. Okay, so the arcade machines do drop circuit boards. Was this fire off when we left? I thought I had the fire going. But it's the only thing I saw that had a circuit board. Everything else has processor boards, so it looks like only large electronics have it. I assume that computer terminals would also have it, so it might be possible for us to slink over to a nearby shop and grab one, although there really aren't any shops nearby, so I don't think that we can do that safely in the daylight. And of course at night you can't deconstruct things, so I think we would head over here, wait at nighttime, then while we're and it takes forever to deconstruct as well. So even if we took a flashlight over there, we would end up probably coming back in the daytime, which is not ideal. We would take multiple flashlights, I would think, just to make sure that we have enough light. In fact, we'll take all of them, I guess, and we'll reload them with the light batteries. Yeah, so we'll do that, put in the high capacity batteries. Now that we have the ability to recharge batteries, it's really not a big deal. We're going to drop our mechanics stuff here to make a little space. Really irritated by the amount of work that some of this stuff is requiring. I didn't think it would be so difficult to just swap out some solar panels. I didn't think that that was something that needed to be so complicated. But we are going to work within those constraints. For now, very hungry, very thirsty. We are wet. I guess we took off our rain gear at some point, which I should have remembered to put on when we were working on the vehicles. And I guess we should probably wear when we go over there, because if it rains on the way, we might be too depressed to deconstruct, which is also a very stupid mechanic I don't like very much. I guess calling it stupid is not very grateful to the people who have made this. It just, this stuff, I do complain about it a lot. It gets to be pretty frustrating when you come in with a plan and you realize, oh, well, you can't do that. And then you realize, well, you can't even do step one of that, because in order to do step one, you have to do 10 other things. And it gets very, very aggravating. 3 weeks, smoked meat, sure. We shouldn't be hungry anymore. I guess we got to start eating some potato chips. We will also eat some multivitamins while we're here, because we've been eating garbage again. And we will drink just plain old water, although I feel like we should be making tea, because I think tea increases your health as well a little bit. Why don't we drink some tea? We can make some herbal tea, which will give, pretty sure that gives an increase to health. Maybe I'm wrong about that. And then until night comes, I think we will burn through the remainder of our wood in the next 10 minutes, but we will, I can't bring myself to continuously gather wood. It's so boring. I guess we'll go gather wood. That'll kill some time. Anyway, apologies for the last episode. I get frustrated, and then when I get frustrated, I get profane, I guess. And I try to keep profanity to a minimum, just because I try not to swear very much. I believe that people who swear constantly, because everybody who's watching this knows someone who curses just constantly, I find it really unappealing. I'm not going to say that you're stupid if you swear, because that's not fair at all. People swear all the time. But when you can't use any words but profanity, I start to question, maybe they just don't have the capacity to learn actual language skills. Maybe they just don't know how to be human and talk like a human. And that's probably an unfair assessment, but the gist of it is I don't like people who swear a ton, and I try not to do it myself. So although it's not a super big deal to swear occasionally, when I get frustrated, it comes out more than I want it to, and that's something I really don't like about myself. So try not to do that. So I'm sorry if that offended you. I'm sorry if those sort of things are upsetting to you. It's going to continue to happen, I would think, in some capacity. But I do try to keep it to a minimum. Also because YouTube doesn't really care for profanity. I think they prioritize videos that are not profanity, that do not have profanity. So that's something that I try to work on as well, because of course I want more views. What is this? A blazer. I mean, I guess we'll drag these clothes with us too for raw materials if we would need them later for some reason, like felt patches and leather. So we'll just take all this downstairs with us. I don't know. I think that this series lately has just been just a lot of me struggling with the commentary, which is really disappointing because I think that this is by far... Oh, this is not the sorting pile. I always do this. Sort. I think that by far this is my most popular series, and I think that there's a good reason for that. I think the commentary in this series has historically been better than anything else on the channel. That doesn't mean that I don't get disappointed in myself for not delivering better commentary. So I think we'll work on some other mechanics project while we wait for this. So we want something that takes very low charges, very low materials, I mean, and gives us a potential to level up. So like this has a mechanics 4 of 6. This means we're going to fail this more than we succeed. And because it uses 75 duct tape, which I don't think you can craft duct tape, you totally can. Oh, but it requires super glue, and super glue requires bleach. Actually, that's not a big deal at all because we're not using bleach for anything. We can make 30 charges of super glue, which would be how much duct tape? So 30 portions of this, that would be 6,000 duct tape. So maybe duct tape is not something we need to worry about spending. So we will go back to the mechanics screen. And since we're going to fail, we're going to be consuming that duct tape a lot more. And the pipe also is a little bit of an issue. We did disassemble things in order to get pipes previously, but we're kind of at our limit for what we can disassemble, I think. So why don't we'll just make 2, because we're going to fail, we're going to lose materials, but it will level our mechanics. And the smarter play would probably be to wait until we crafted the vehicle thing. We did it. I can't believe it. Let's try again. Your hands are not... That's the wrong button. Try again. And like, yeah, this is the series where I've talked to we failed. This is the series where we've talked about my depression, where we've talked... I can't believe we just leveled up that easily on mechanics. After all my pissing and moaning, it was that easy. Oh, Cataclysm, you just have to make an ass of me, don't you? It's definitely Cataclysm's fault and not at all my fault because... I am a grown-up. And we can just continue crafting them to level all the way to 6. Which is what we need for the... Okay. Cataclysm, you're embarrassing me now. So we'll make 2 again. Although if we fail this time, we won't have enough materials to try again. Assuming we run out of the pipe. Yes? Yeah, we're missing... Oh, yeah, nails are not a big deal. Out of pipes. So we're going to disassemble some of this stuff. You can't disassemble the underslung shotgun. Okay. Even though it's literally a pipe that you've melted. Okay, it doesn't matter. You've taped and whatever. We'll disassemble the pipe rifles, I suppose. This takes a long time as well, which I don't love. To disassemble them, I think. Does it? Like 30 minutes? I mean, not ideal. Oh, it says literally right next to it. Yeah, I mean, this is the series where we've talked about my depression, where we've talked about my life a lot, which is what people have really been responding to. So when I have these long stretches of 2 or 3 episodes where the commentary just sucks, it's really damaging to my, sense of, like, whether I'm doing a good job or not. I think we're going to ignore the arcade machines for the time being. And well, it's pretty early in the evening. Why don't we eat? We'll go butcher some arcade machines because we do want that RV cooking unit. We'll eat the sausage. We will find something that is more perishable. Bologna? No. Do we have any bread items? Can we make a meat sandwich? We cannot. So we don't have any bread items. We could potentially go get and make flour from the cattails from the swamp across the street. Problem is that that's another project that would distract me from what I'm currently trying to do. So I think we're not going to do that. Maybe in the next episode or two. Why don't we just eat something else? The problem also is that we mostly only have things that are not particularly healthy for our character. And we're starting to suffer some of the negative effects of not eating right. So what do we need to do this? We need the light goggles. We have flashlights fully ready. We have the toolbox. We have our rifle fully reloaded for emergencies. We do not need the home wrecker. That will just take up space. We will wield the quarterstaff. And because we can do this mostly pretty stealthy, we're going to just head out and go. Do we want the wheelbarrow full of casings? I mean, it has plenty of space left, presumably. Yeah. I think we will take the wheelbarrow. We need to repair this at some point. But I'm not super worried about that right this minute. We are going to wear the goggles, of course, because they will help us prevent a stupid death. And we really don't like stupid deaths. So we're going to just head out. We could use auto move, but I feel like that would be a horrible decision in the dark in areas that we haven't explored in a while. So we're just going to hoof it. Lots of button presses. Yep, I see you, kid. I think that that's a recent update now, because I never noticed before that they would get little exclamation points over their heads when they saw you. So I do think that that was recent. There was an update to the tile set, which is the... So obviously this exclamation point, these are common. These let you know there are multiple items in a particular location. But that's really the only... I don't remember the red. See, he has a red exclamation point over his head. I do not remember that being part of the game. So probably some dead guy did that. He's the one who, or she, I believe it's a he, maintains the... I said it's a he. I believe that individual is male. What is this? Have we been here? What is this? Throwable fire extinguisher. That actually sounds pretty valuable. Also a sledgehammer. We could just pick this up instead of making the one we were working on. Crowbar, Halligan tool. We will take the shovel because the makeshift shovel is broken or removed from the game. We'll take the crowbar because it's better than the makeshift crowbar. And we will drop these things into our... I guess we'll take the regular crowbar even though it's more voluminous. I always say voluminous. I don't know if that's a word. Voluminous. I don't know what the proper word there is. I guess this is like an emergency response vehicle. Fire truck, yours. Is it a fire truck though? It looks like... I mean, I guess it is. It's just not a tanker, which is what most people think of when they think of a... Or not a tanker, but a... I don't know what I don't know what I mean. We were in here before. This is where the wasps were, so we have to be a little careful. We're going to press left and hope that nothing is going to come out and murder us. Nope. Don't want to fight a wasp. They, although we're perfectly capable of taking on a wasp at this point, it's just really not worth being beaten up for. I'm going to the wrong note. Oh no, I'm not. I thought this was where the fire engine was. Oh, that's way up there. Okay, well... I'm dumb. Head down here. Hopefully we're going to be able to get in here and butcher without being harassed. Although I'm not super confident in that. We passed it. Head back. Okay. So this is a pizza parlor, if I recall. I think we should be able to turn on the light and not draw them in. But we're going to... Well, regardless, we're going to take off the... light amp goggles. I think what we'll do is we'll pull it all the way into the back here. Oh, furniture moves differently than a pulled vehicle. Okay. And we'll go back here to do it, just so that the radiating light doesn't just pop out the windows here. I think this should be okay. I suppose we could come back here, would probably be the smartest play, just because we don't know for sure what the issue would be. So we'll come back here. What in God's name is a dinosaur suit? Okay, so we're going to activate the flashlight. We're going to deconstruct the arcade machine. 5, 10... 15, 20, 22 minutes, it looks like, which drew about not very much charge at all from our flashlight. Okay, we're going to take most of this with us just because, and I think we'll deconstruct 1 or 2 more because it didn't take very long, and we are going to need these materials down the road anyway. So what machine was that? That was a arcade machine. Why don't we try a pinball machine? I don't know what the difference really is. Okay, can we please down, stuff in the way. Oh, apparently stuff on the ground counts as blocking furniture. Use the same flashlight, deconstruct this. Yeah, I don't know. My commentary, it fluctuates. You know, I get people who comment and say, hey man, you know, there's really great commentary. You know, I really enjoy, oh, turn the light off. You know, I really enjoyed this episode, or I really enjoyed, why is it so bright outside? That's a little worrisome. That's what it looked like before when we would get, when we were treated as being in a bright lit area at night. So hopefully that doesn't interfere. That's why I saved before we left. I'm still not really sure if that's been worked out or not. I've been told it's been worked out, but that doesn't always mean it's actually been fixed. Deconstruct. Yeah, like, oh, something is wumping. I didn't have I should put my headphones on, huh? Something is wumping, so we are probably in danger. Wump. On the exterior of the building, it's I don't know what you are. Severely injured skull zombie. Oh, this is the first time we've seen one of these. I made this guy. This creature's head is a hideous gray skull formed of human bone fragments and some sort of goo. Jagged teeth are visible as the thing works its jaw, and disturbingly human, lidless eyes stare at you from their sockets. The thing's fleshy ears are 4 sizes too large and droop under their own weight. This is the highest evolution of the headless zombies. So they go brainless, which is number 1, that has suffered catastrophic damage to its head. Listener zombie, which is number 2, which basically its head is beginning to kind of regrow from the blob inside of it. And their ears are distended because they're the only really intact sensory organ that they have. And then the skull zombie is the fully upgraded version where its head has been armored and reconstructed from goo, and it has these huge ears, so they have very good hearing. This is actually pretty dangerous. I see it's listed as severely injured. When I made these similar to somewhere between like a brute and the highest level biter zombie. So these are a little dangerous. Did it say poisoned? Poisoned. Why would I know that? How would I know that it's poisoned? Whatever. So severely injured. I'm guessing we can one-shot it. Yeah. They're actually pretty dangerous. They have high armor values, but we criticaled it, and it was already pretty damaged. So smash them up. And then unfortunately, they only drop basic zombie loot. So it is dark out here. I was worried it would be bright. So he must have heard us deconstructing. That's very nice to see something that I put in the game. It's always nice to see stuff like that. Although I'm mostly not proud of the things I've added to the game. Most of them are not very good, but I do like the skull zombies. I like the idea. You know, when I made the brainless zombies, a lot of people were really kind of irritated by them because they thought they were useless. Which was sort of the point. When I made them, they were supposed to be kind of useless, and then over time they would upgrade into a dangerous opponent. And yeah, people just didn't like them very much, and I felt very discouraged because people were like, why are these even in the game? You know, and it was really discouraging because it was my first creature that I had added to the game. And it's nice to see them. They did get worked on. They did get a little bit improved. I think we're just going to move everything. How do we move everything? We don't need the TVs. Well, there isn't enough room. No, let's move. Well, there's not enough room because of the sheets of glass and the... Really, 2 sheets of glass takes up more volume than a television. Okay. The sheets of glass and the planks are the 2 things. So we're going to not do that. We also got pipes, which is handy because we're going to need them for crafting. Let's, instead of this, why don't we move... Okay, stop dragging that. Let's move the stuff we don't want onto this tile, which would be the sheets of glass, the television, and the planks. Move 24 planks, and then everything in this tile should be able to go into our grabbed vehicle without any issue. There we go. I think we'll head back to base. I think there's stuff, you know, we could have done more and gotten more stuff. We'll grab these because we had pulled these out of our cart previously when we needed space. And it's really not a big deal. We can pick them up now. I also think there was some flour. Did we get all the flour, I guess? Can't believe that cheese hasn't rotted yet. But okay. What did that say? 4 weeks? It's a little bit longer than I would have expected. So we're going to head back to base. Hopefully we do so safely. I feel like this was a good outing. I feel like we got what we were looking for, which is... Oh, I saw a giant horde. You were camouflaged by the random debris. Anything particularly scary? Firefighter zombies, some more brainless zombies. Oh, it's a listener. Some feral runners. So not super scary stuff. Although we're definitely at this point seeing evolutions. I think that the skull zombie was not in any list at all. At least when I made it, it was made to be evolution only. So the fact that we saw it either means that it's been changed by someone or that the evolutions are starting to kick off. So I am a little worried because I don't feel like we're super decked out for starting to see these monster evolutions. Going to activate our goggles because the light faded. We're just going to head back to base and then we're going to craft ourselves a hot plate, I guess. And make the RV cooking unit. This is where we encountered the shockers and stuff before, I think. No, that was 1 tier up. We're just going to continue heading to the right. I see we have a mouse cursor on the screen. Yep. Pretty okay outing. Kind of glad we found what we wanted. You know, we got to see a monster we haven't seen before. 2, actually. Did we see the Thorny Shambler in this episode or the last episode? Either way, pretty good outing for such a short excursion. And we're going to head inside. In fact, we'll probably, now that we're safely back to base, I think we'll call the episode here. And yeah, I'll go and I'll unload our stuff in between episodes. Can't go in down here. And yeah, so thank you for watching. I will be back, of course, with more Cataclysm content in the near future. Consider liking, commenting, and or subscribing. And I'll see you in the next episode.